Hey guys, I share Shadow Legends. Welcome to the video. Send us some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need them out there today. Today is part of our weekend Raid 101 series here on the Raid Guides channel. I wanted to cover masteries today, specifically tier 6 masteries, like the bottom row of masteries. What are they all? What do they do? Which are good, which are not used that much, and why? And what type of champion would you want to consider for each of these masteries? So as we do here on the weekend series, I wanted to let you guys know that I do have a download link if you're just starting Raid, or maybe you just started, or you have a friend, or you want to start a second account or a third account or whatever. Definitely use a download link. It doesn't have to be mine. There's a million of them out there. Every creator gets them. I have Eleanor, right? So really, really good to start out an account with Eleanor. Poisons and burns and it just like a lot of what can help you in the early days, as well as Ugo, one of the best epics in the game. So Eleanor and Ugo after level 15 on new accounts in the download link. Okay, let's jump into it here. Let's just pull up a champion that I have not gotten masteries on yet. And I don't know, maybe we can even build. Do I have the gems for it right now? I do. Maybe I can just build the champion's masteries with you guys at the end as well. But let's just start by talking about them all. So I just pulled off air this guy. It was crazy. I pulled him out of a single ancient shard, which like never happens to me. Otherwise, if I was going to do a big shard opening, I would have recorded it, put it on my main channel, Raid Shadow Legends. But Karen the Harvester, pretty cool. So I haven't gotten his masteries yet, but let's talk about if I did, which I would choose. But let's start on the support tree. So obviously 3 trees here in terms of masteries, the basics, right? It costs 800 gems. I would advise spend the gems on your first mastery champion, and then after that, you can just farm them up. It costs around 650 worth of gems and energy to actually farm minnow. So you're saving by farming minnow versus actually buying them. You're saving not time, but you are saving gems. It's a little bit lower of a cost. So take that into consideration. It's kind of good to know for the future as well. Otherwise, again, to get all scrolls, it would be 800. Again, 650 or so. I think it's like 640 if we did the energy conversion on the minnow farming. Anyway, I'll start with, you can choose 2 trees on any champion, and you get 1 free reset, and then after that you have to pay gems to reset additionally. So make sure that you pay attention to the masteries that you're choosing. I say this all the time, but in the beginning, it can be daunting, right? There's so many things in this game, stats and artifacts and abilities and masteries and relics, and can keep going on and on and on. Just take the time. The best way to learn is to, it sounds obvious, but just take the time to read the mastery, like to read and think about it for 2 seconds. And then you'll actually start picking up on these things, and you'll start thinking, oh yeah, I could really use this mastery on this champion. And also, don't blindly, either from YouTube or from websites, don't blindly copy masteries, because sometimes it really does depend on how you want to build a champion, depend on what you want to use them for and what other champions you have on the team. There's a lot of factors, right? Okay, so Eagle Eye. Support. We'll start with the support tree, right? Eagle Eye is the quintessential accuracy mastery. It gives you 50 accuracy. Now we can also get pinpoint accuracy, which gives you 10. So just by going down, no matter how you go, you'll get 60 accuracy. 60 accuracy isn't what it used to be with blessings and masteries, but it's still very significant. Now, this is a beautiful mastery for champions that you're using maybe in the arena that you want to debuff the enemy team, right? So removing buffs, debuffing, stuff like that. Generally in PvE, in dungeons, we recommend around 10 to 12 points of accuracy per stage of the dungeon that you're on, right? There's some areas such as Iron Twins that the scale's a little bit higher, but the good news about PvE, basically everywhere outside of the arena content and raid, is, 400 or so, maybe in some areas a little bit higher, 500 accuracy is really going to be all that you need, even for endgame content at the time of this recording. But in the arena, all bets are off. You might need 700 or 800 or 900 accuracy in the end game, and then you need to use masteries like Eagle Eye. So Eagle Eye, I look at as more of a PvP, more of an arena mastery to choose, but of course, you could use it in PvE as well. The accuracy can certainly benefit you. All right, Oppressor is probably, out of all the masteries, probably one of the least used that we see here in the game. First of all, the wording is incredibly wonky. I've asked Plarium, And I've asked some of the smartest minds outside of Plarium as well that know this game so well, and no one truly understands exactly how Oppressor works. Even the developer, who I asked at least, could not, really adequately describe it for me. Increase the turn meter fill rate by 2.5% for each active debuff cast by this champion, up to 10%. So we're not increasing the turn meter. We're not really increasing their speed, kinda. We're increasing the rate at which the turn meter fills by 2.5% for each active debuff cast by this champion. So, it's not like you can cast a debuff, it gets cleansed, it gets reset. It does get reset, right? So it's a tricky one here. And I guess once I read it, it does seem like kind of intuitive. The thing is it's just not the best tier 6 mastery out there. No matter which type of champion that you want to use Oppressor on, there's probably a better mastery out there. Thus, most people do not pick Oppressor, but you can have some fun with it, right? Especially a champion that dishes out a ton of debuffs, maybe like a Bellower in wave content. It could be interesting to get that turn meter fill increase, but again, there's almost always going to be a mastery. Not to say that it's trash, but there's probably going to be a mastery that does better for you and your team. Timely Intervention. This is the quintessential Reviver mastery, either a Reviver or a really elite healer. And the reason is pretty intuitive. Increase this champion's turn meter by 20% whenever an ally's hero drops below 25%. It is a very, very powerful mastery. One of the most popular masteries out there, again, for supports and revivers. It's pretty intuitive, right? When are you going to need to revive somebody or heal somebody? Probably when their HP drops below 25%. They're going to die. That includes dying, by the way, right? So if you start a match with a reviver and 3 champions and somebody gets popped and dies, well, you're going to get that boost so you can revive them. So Timely Intervention, very good mastery. Elixir of Life, max HP plus 3,000. Not many people go for the Elixir of Life. I mean, even Artifact Ascension, right, that they added to the game, a way to further enhance stats on our artifacts. You can get, like almost half of this tier 6 mastery just from ascending 1 artifact, 3 artifacts gets you a tier 6 mastery. No. It's not, to me, it's not worth ever taking the Elixir of Life. I guess maybe one of the only niche scenarios I would consider is on an HP-based champion, heal-based champion. So their heal is based on their max HP. And you have them in a shield or a bolster set, which is also based on their max HP. That would be the only time I would consider it. And even then, I'd probably go elsewhere personally. But you get the 3,000 HP, and it synergizes with the track that you'd have to take to get here, right? Meaning, Shield Bearer, increase your shields. Lay on Hands, increase the value of your heals. So you kind of come down and pick up Elixir of Life as a consideration. It's not my favorite, though. Let's go Defense Tree. Unshakable. It's the same thing that we said about Eagle Eye. It all applies, except for instead of accuracy, we're talking about resistance, right? Resistance, again, I'm not going to repeat it all, but you really don't go unshakable in most situations for PvE. Not because it's useless, but because there's better options. For the arena, if you're trying to build a high resist champion, you can go unshakable. Sometimes on some champions that are not revivers, but they're kind of a tankier champion, unshakable is better than, the rest of the options that you have. But again, I look at this as more of an arena-specific mastery, personally. All right. Fearsome Presence. Increase the chances of placing Stun, Sleep, Freeze, Fear, True Fear, Provoke, and Sheep as well from artifacts or skills. This is a very powerful blessing. It's one of the more mastery. It's one of the more popular masteries in the game. Its claim to fame is a stun set, right? So stun sets, it does trigger off of artifacts as well. It can take that 18% chance up to a 23% chance to land the stuns, especially with a larger sample size and longer battles. That's going to make a profound impact overall. But of course, it works with everything else as well, including sheep as well, right? So, any CC debuff, a provoke set, for example, you really want to pick up Fearsome Presence if it makes sense for the utility that you're using those champions for. When you pick up Fearsome Presence, you definitely want to pick up Harvest Despair for PvE content, right? I don't say Harvest Despair necessarily for the arena, because you're not looking to dish out leeches and more debuffs for obvious reasons in the arena. But in outside the arena, like in stun sets and wave clearing content, Harvest Despair is going to give you a leech every time you place a CC debuff, right? Or a 60% chance of placing a leech, thus getting healing out of your champion as well. And they might not even be a healer, so they're bringing another whole dimension to the table to help support your team. So Harvest Despair usually goes hand in hand with Fearsome Presence, as well as Retribution, right? Especially if they have an AoE on their A1 ability, which is oftentimes the type of champions we put in a stun set. We'll have Retribution, a chance to counterattack, 50% chance, as well as the extra chance to land the stun, as well as a chance of placing a leech on them, right? We can pick up deterrence for the same reason. Next is Bulwark. Decrease the damage all allies receive by 5%. This champion will receive that damage instead. It's kind of like a little mini Guardian set here that we can put on really tanky champions. This is best on champions with maybe ally protection, really double down on the ally protection, right? The damage mitigation for allies. It's really good on champions with block damage as well, because that block damage can then mitigate the damage they incur through the Bulwark mastery as well. Or in the arena for a champion with Stone Skin, at least for a turn or two, that will mitigate the extra Bulwark damage. Just be careful when you start stacking up masteries like Bulwark. It generally goes well with Selfless Defender, another kind of combo you want to be aware of. Decrease the damage an ally receives from the first hit in each round by 20%. This champion will receive that damage instead. So again, two very tanky damage stealing, if you will, or mitigating masteries to choose for your tanky units. I think like a Kayaku would be a great option for that combo, or an Ursuga is another great option. Iron Skin gives you 200 defense. No one really goes Iron Skin for the same reason that nobody goes Elixir of Life. It's not that 200 defense is useless, there's just better masteries out there. For damage dealers that are defense-based, you want to go with a damage tier 6. For a tank, you're probably going to want to go with one of the tankier masteries, like Bulwark or like Unshakable, or maybe you want your tank to have War Master and PvE content or something like that, right? I would personally never really go Iron Skin. Offense. Flawless Execution is the fourth most popular, or the least popular, of the tier 6 offensive masteries in the game. Crit damage plus 20%. What type of champion do we want to consider Flawless Execution on? Well, champions that ignore 100% defense with a skill like Royal Huntsman's A3 Dead Aim, 100% ignore defense. The Peril ability of Mortu Macabre, 100% ignore defense. Maybe we have a team that already has like Fina and crazy combos, and we can easily get our champions ignoring 100% defense. We can go with crit damage on those champions. Blood Gorge, there's a few of them out there, right? But that's, for the most part, that's usually it. I see some people go with this on their Seers as well, just to get over the hump and clear some of that wave content. All right, Giant Slayer. If a champion has 3 or more hits on their A1 ability, we generally go Giant Slayer. This is a 30% chance of inflicting bonus damage when attacking. Bonus damage is equal to 7.5% of the target champion's max HP, or 3% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. Bonus damage can occur on each hit of a skill, does not count as an extra hit. So it's not an extra hit in the way that like maybe Phantom Touch could be, the blessing on like the Fire Knight, but it is only a 30% chance, but it happens on each hit. So we really want 3 hits to make the odds in our favor. Otherwise, we want to go with War Master. Now, there are exceptions to every rule in Raid Shadow Legends. There are some champions that might have a 2-time hitter on their A1, but maybe a 3-time hitter or 4-time hitter on their A2 and A3, maybe like a whole string type champion, does make sense if they have a ton of multi-hits, but only a 2-time hitter on their A1 to still go Giant Slayer. But those champions are generally few and far between. When in doubt, 3 hits on their A1, go Giant Slayer. I'm going to skip Helm Smasher because Giant Slayer and War Master synergize a lot together. By the way, Giant Slayer, more of a PvE mastery. You're not really going to pick Giant Slayer for the arena unless you're just running a hybrid build on your champion. War Master, 60% chance of inflicting bonus damage instead of a 30% chance on Giant Slayer when attacking. Bonus damage 10% of the target's champion's max HP, or 4% now instead of 3% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. Bonus damage can only occur once per skill instead of once per hit. So they're playing some fuzzy math with us here, right? Now we got to make the decision here. Instead of 30% chance, we have 60% chance of getting the damage. Instead of 3%, it's 4% of the target's max HP, but it's only once per skill. So again, 1 or 2 hits, we want to go War Master. War Master is also a good mastery to choose on your non-damage dealers that you don't need any of this other stuff that we talked about. For example, maybe we have, a healer, I don't know, like Scylla the Drakes or something like that, right? Obviously, she can benefit from timely intervention, right? We talked about Scylla the Drakes is a reviver that we get for free after 180 days, by the way. So yeah, we want to build her with timely intervention. Makes all the sense in the world. But what if we've gotten to the point where nobody's dying on our teams that we're running, right? Maybe they're already optimized where, it's not that, or maybe someone's dying, but it's no big deal. Like, she's always good. The team's not wiping. It's not getting catastrophic. It's just like, no big deal. We'll wait till she gets a turn. We don't need the turn meter fill. This team will survive. Everything's good. In that case, even on revivers or supports or anybody in this game, when in doubt, go War Master. Get that extra damage. 4% of the target's max HP when you're attacking a boss can be a lot of damage, right? Okay, Helm Smasher. Helm Smasher is the quintessential PvE mastery, or PvP. Ash, come on, bro. PvP, let me stress, Helm Smasher is the arena mastery for our damage dealers. Now, unlike War Master, which I said, throw it on your revivers, throw it on anybody, right? We're not going to be throwing Helm Smasher on just anybody in the arena. If we're building a reviver or support specifically for the arena, well, that's the case where we're probably going to go Unshakable or Timely Intervention, right? But our damage dealers in the arena or in wave content, right? Basically, instead of saying PvE, PvP, when you're attacking other champions versus a boss, right? Helm Smasher is the way to go. 50% chance to ignore 25% of the target's defense. That 25% ignore defense is the strongest thing we can get in this game in terms of maximizing our damage potential against champions. It works against bosses too, but generally, again, as I mentioned, War Master is going to be better against bosses with that max HP being so high on bosses. But Helm Smasher is going to be your go-to for all your damage dealers inside the arena. Let's go ahead and do a quick arena nuker build, guys, and just talk about him a little bit. So we have, by the way, Curran the Harvester. Let's quickly read his skills. He's got an AoE decreased speed with a decreased turn meter on his A1. He's got to put skills on cooldown, decreasing turn meter on enemies with sleep on his A2 or without. And then he's got an AoE with a sleep, ignore block debuffs, and an extra turn on his A3, and then some turn meter manipulation here on his passive. Very strong champion. His damage is based on attack. He's not an attack. He's not a nuker, though, He's a support / he's technically a support, but he's a control champion is what he really is. So what do we want to choose for a tier 6 for him? I'm going to use Curran the Harvester pretty much exclusively in the arena, right? I haven't tried him out yet, so I don't know how good he is. But going in there, placing a sleep, ignore block debuffs, getting an extra turn, and then putting skills on cooldown, and then decreasing turn meter, we know he's going to need a hell of a lot of accuracy. His passive, whenever an enemy attempts to increase their turn meter, decrease the value by 25%. Active, 1 turn cooldown. Whenever a sleep debuff is removed on a target, instantly activates his A2. Very strong, putting their skills on cooldown. So you can probably already guess where we're going to go here, guys. This dude is an arena champion, and he needs a lot of accuracy. So we're going to go all the accuracy masteries. I don't know what I haven't put artifacts on him yet, so I'm not sure if I'll need Lore of Steel. Next thing we want to check is everything 100%, right? Because that's going to dictate whether or not we need the sniper mastery to get an additional 5%. So on this champion, he's a really cool champ, by the way. He's really cool. On this champion, we'll go with Evil Eye. We don't need Sniper because I have him booked out, and everything's 100% once you have him booked out. Otherwise, we probably want to pick up that Sniper, right? Master Hexer is not going to extend the duration of his sleep, obviously, but we're going to pick it up because he does have a decreased speed, and we're going to go Eagle Eye. There it is. Right? We're going to go Eagle Eye because we want all that accuracy because I intend to use this champion in the arena mostly, as I said. So we also will take Arcane Celerity, getting turn meter boost. If you'd like to see another mastery where we talk about, like, I don't know, everything other than tier 6 masteries, we can do that, or we can just focus on a tree, offense, defense, or support in a future video. I'm going to go with Defiant. I'm going to go with Improved Parry. I'm going to go with Rejuvenation. I'm going to go Resurgent. I'm going to go with Delay Death, and we're going to come down with Retribution. I think I'd also like to throw a Deterrence on him as well. And then we'll end with, I'm probably going to leave this one open because I'm not sure what sets I'm going to put on him right now. So, I'd probably end with Cycle of Magic. I'm probably going to run him fast. Yeah, he'll probably be in Supersonic or something like that. So we'll go Cycle of Magic. There we go. So pretty obvious here. We went Eagle Eye. Let's just take a look at another random champion here. Let's go with, I mentioned Syl. So let's go to see how I have her built out here. So because she's a stunning champion or stunner, I mentioned we could go with Timely Intervention. I mentioned that we could go with War Master on Scylla Drakes. In this case, we went with Fearsome Presence because she also has a stun on her A2 ability. It works with skills and artifacts, right? So actually, that's a great choice for her, if I do say so myself, especially if we have her in a stun set. But even without the stun set, she has a 35% chance of placing a stun on her A2 ability. This bumps it up to a 40% chance. And just like I told you guys, we have Harvest Despair, and we have Retribution as well. Kind of go hand in hand a little bit there. Let's go with one more. Let's go with a Reviver. Who do I have built out that I use a lot that's a Reviver? We'll go Sify, the Lost Bride. We have her with Timely Intervention, right? She's a Reviver. I use her in the arena. Going to get that extra turn meter boost, which could be really, really important. It could be pivotal in the arena specifically. All right, guys. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, take care, guys.